Participation and the Black Women's Roundtable. To introduce you to Valerie Jarrett, who's our keynote speaker. Valerie is an American government official who is currently the senior advisor and has been there the entire time, from day one and before, right? Carrying it daily as the senior advisor to the President of the United States and assistant to the President for public engagement in intergovernmental affairs for President Barack Obama. She served as a Chicago lawyer, businesswoman, and civic leader. Prior to that, she served as co-chair of the Obama-Biden Transition Project. Valerie got her start in Chicago politics in 1987, working for Mayor Harold Washington as Deputy Corporate Counsel for Finance and Development. Until joining the Obama administration, Valerie was the CEO of the Habitat Company. Until, y'all forgive me, I got my new glasses. And they didn't make this long. And I'm going to do this because I think everybody knows Valerie Jarrett. And I'm not going to go so formal. Is that all right, y'all? All right. I just want to thank Valerie for all that she does every day, especially behind the scenes. It is not easy, and we don't always be happy, but we still smile and we still love you, and we're glad that you're there. Okay? And so we want you to come up at this time and share what's going on in the fourth quarter of the Obama administration. We love you, Valerie.
Well, my goodness, how good do I feel? I didn't need a microphone. You know, I have a big voice. Good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Morning's going. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you, Melanie, for that introduction. You know I love you. I love you so much. You have been there through thick and thin, and it has been your wise counsel and advice over the last 7 years that have helped guide those of us in the administration who care so much about the issues that you care about. And on a personal note, I want to thank you for your friendship. I look around this room and feel the love, and I just got here already, and I already feel the love. And a lot of that centralizes from your leadership, and you're right, we've learned you can always disagree. You don't have to be disagreeable. And what we find is that when you listen to people, you actually make better decisions. And I just want you to know that Melanie and many of you in this room have been principally responsible for our success, and for that I am very grateful on behalf of President Obama. Give Melanie a shout. You and the entire Black Women's Business Roundtable, you have been instrumental in many of our efforts, but central as we try to work so hard to improve the lives of women and girls of color. So 7 years ago this month, the President created the White House Council on Women and Girls, and I have been its chair since its inception. Now, you know, everybody jokes about the President's gray hair. My gray hair is actually not that funny. But I feel like I've earned every strand over the last 7 years. And we are going to continue that work until January 20th at 11:59, 2017. Now, I know we have some high school and college young women in the house. Is that right? Stand up and let us show you some love. Stand up. Everyone is in high school. I want to say directly to you that we're counting on you. Well, we're counting on each and every one of you because you are the next generation. That means, Melanie, you and I are the last generation. And we know that you're going to be standing on our shoulders, but that means that we're expecting big things from you. So I want to thank you in advance for everything you're going to do to change the world. Amen. So it's Women's History Month. That's a good thing. We're supposed to learn a lot about our history. And I love the theme of your conference. I'm already feeling healthy, wealthy, and wise. And as I said, I just got here. Wait till I have time I leave. So over the last 7 years of the Obama administration. I just want you to know we have been working tirelessly to improve the quality of lives of women and girls. Why? Because we know when women succeed, America succeeds.
That's right.
We are the backbone of America, and we are certainly the backbone of the African American community. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Anybody disagree with that? I didn't think so. So central to the President's mission since day one has been to ensure that every child, boy or girl, can reach their full potential and achieve their dreams. And we know that in our country, talent is ubiquitous. It is in every community, it is in every neighborhood, it is in every school, it is in every family. But we also know that opportunity is not. It's our job to make sure that we expand opportunity. Pure and simple, and so that's a central focus that has driven President Obama since long before he took office, and every single day he wakes up in the morning, young lady, and he's thinking about you. Because he's thinking about Sasha and Malia. And he's thinking about what can he do to make sure that nothing gets in the way of their achieving their dreams. And he thinks about his grandmother too. I know many of you have heard the story of his grandmother who had a high school education, that's it. But she was smart as a whip, just like he is. And she worked in a bank, and what would she do? She trained people every single day who then leapfrogged over her. And she'd come home in the evening, and you'd see that sadness in her eyes. And I think it is what gave him empathy for what it's like to be a woman in America. And then he's married to this dynamic black woman. My goodness gracious, Michelle Obama. We like to call her Michelle, right? That's right. That's our girl. But being married to her and seeing how she tried to balance the needs of her career and raising these two children, and he'd be down in Springfield working, and she'd call him and say, well, the babysitter didn't show up, what are you going to do about it? He said, well, I'm down in Springfield. And she'd go, I don't care where you are, what you going to do about it? And so he knew how hard it was for her to try to make those balances work. And then, as I said, he has these two amazing girls. And so a lot of that really went into the creation of the White House Council of Women and Girls, his life experiences, and then many of the women in the administration. I grew up, fortunately, two parents that loved me dearly, gave me every opportunity, unconditional love, lots of support, paid for my education all the way through high school and college, and then on to law school. And I know what a relief that was for me. And then I was a single mom. I raised my daughter, who's now 30, which is just crazy. I don't know how that happened. But from the time she was 7 months old, I was basically a single mother. And I know how hard it would have been for me if I didn't have the support of my parents. And then I think about so many young girls around our country who have no support, who have no help, and who are feeling out there on their own. And we want them to know that they are not alone. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Isn't that right? So our council's work is everything from making sure every young girl gets that education that she needs to grow up and compete, unburdened by all of the burdens that are so heavily weighing on us. We want to close that wage gap, equal pay for equal work. Women still only earn 78 cents on the dollar, women of color less, black women 60 cents on the dollar. We have to close that wage gap, don't we? We have got to do that to make sure that we're able to thrive. We have to do everything we can to help women make that balance that I talked to you a minute about between being successful at work and fulfilling your responsibilities at home. And it shouldn't be an either or, it should be a both and. And so we are putting in place a lot of policies to ensure that everybody can compete in that 21st century workplace, and that employers who recognize that and are paying women equally and are paying for paid leave and paid sick leave. We're the only developed country in the world that doesn't have a paid sick leave or paid leave policy. 44 million Americans don't have a single day of paid sick time. And so they're choosing between going to work or taking care of a sick child, thinking they may lose their job, get docked for a day, and they can't afford that. And if we are, in fact, the richest country in the world, which we know we are, and the greatest country in the world, we need to make sure that paid leave is addressed. And the President has called on Congress to do it, and in their absence, we're calling on every city and state and employer to make sure that we do that. Another area that we really are focusing on is we have got to end sexual assault on our college campuses. I am telling you, if I had known when I sent my daughter to college, what she and her peers would be faced with, I would have asked a lot more questions. And I know we're right at the time period where people are making decisions about where to go to college. You need to ask that college and university, what is your record? What is your attitude? What is your culture on our college campuses? If we had anything else where 1 in 5 people were being victimized and assaulted, you know they'd call it an epidemic. And we would be doing something about it. And that's what the president has challenged us to do. And right now we have 500 colleges and universities around the country who have committed through our It's On Us program to end sexual assault on our college campuses. We have to do that. The First Ladies, let's move. And I know we're talking about health here. We've got to get up. We've got to move. We have got to make sure we are eating healthy, because if we set that example for our children, they will follow. So let's educate ourselves and let's keep ourselves moving. And let's have fun. You just watch what she does. She's always moving, let me tell you, and she enjoys it. And so let's do that. And let's also get ourselves aware of her Reach Higher program, which is to inspire. You know about that, right? Inspire every young girl to aspire to go to college, to apply to college, to help them get the financial aid they need, make college more affordable. And once they get there, let's not walk away and abandon them. Let's make sure they're successful while they're there. So thanks to the First Lady for that. And then let me also mention the 20 million people who have health care, who would never have had it before. One right there, all right, testimony right there. Another one right there. 3 million African American adults and all their children. Oh my goodness, it's the difference between life and death. And I have met people who would not be here today. We're not for Obamacare. We're not ashamed to call it Obamacare. We got care. We got care. My goodness. So, I want to tell you briefly about a summit we have coming up, because you know we're not done yet. We still got a ways to go. And so on May 23rd, we're having the White House Summit on the United State of Women. The United State of Women. Not the United States of Women, the United State of Women. And what it's going to give us a chance to do is look back at all of our accomplishments over the last 7 years. But more importantly, we're not sitting on our laurels. We're going to look forward to the hard work that lies ahead. And we're going to focus very, very clearly on several different areas at our conference. Now, what I want you to also know is that as we take this step back, we should all challenge ourselves. What we have left, what can we get done? But also, more importantly, what can we put in place that is sustainable for the long term, right? Because the one thing we do know is that President Obama will not be here after January of next year. We all know that. I know we're all feeling a little sad. Did you see that little girl who was crying? Oh my gosh, she broke my heart. I wanted to just hug her. When I showed it to him, he said, tell her it's going to be okay. But the reason why he said, I am all off script here, by the way. The reason why he said it was going to be okay is because he said to me to tell her, and then we sent a note to her up on his Facebook, is because after he leaves office, he will share with her the most important office of all, the office of citizen. Yeah. The office of, I can't say it, office of citizen, right? Yes. And that's something we all share in common. But my point in raising it is that we are going to do everything we can during this last call to ensure that we are leaving our country better off, and also that we are focusing all of our attention on how we can make everything we do sustainable. Because if we're going to have a 21st century where every American, every girl, every boy achieves their absolute best, we have to focus on those we know are most vulnerable. And women and girls of color are very vulnerable for a host of different reasons. So let me just touch on a few. Our discipline system in our schools. Disproportionately, boys and girls of color are suffering under our discipline system. Now you have to ask yourself, when someone comes to school and they're 4 years old and they can't concentrate, are they hungry? Could they not sleep the night before because there was too much noise inside or outside of their home? Did they walk to school and they thought it was dangerous getting to school? And then they get to the classroom and they act up, and people go, well, why are you acting up? Well, who wouldn't act up under those circumstances? And so we have to get to the underlying root causes, but we also need to make sure that in our schools we are setting up a system where we are addressing the discipline, and particularly suspension and expulsions. Because if we suspend and expel our young girls, then that is a pathway to sexual assault on the streets, to crime on the streets, and to our juvenile delinquency system, which is a feeder ground right to our adult criminal system. And then we say to ourselves, why are so many people incarcerated? So the Department of Education has prepared a release of guidance for our schools to give them better information on how they can address the school discipline challenge. We brought together philanthropists and stakeholders and practitioners in our schools around the country to help them understand what they can do to reduce that. Now, I will mention to you one bit of good news. Our incarceration rate for black women has fallen by nearly 44% since 2010. 44%. So that's the good news. The bad news is that it is still double the rate of white women. So we need to do something about that. I'll tell you, I went out to Los Angeles a while ago and I visited a court where all these young girls, all of them women, girls of color under the age of 18, were ending up in court for a whole range of different crimes they had committed. And the underlying theme, or the fact, I should say, as a very responsible judge started asking them questions about their family and what's going on and why you're in my courtroom again, every one of them was a victim of the criminalized of sexual exploitation of girls, the commercial sexual exploitation of girls. And they told me stories of being abused at home and then running away from home. And these several of these girls were from Compton. They said, you can't be on the street for more than a couple of blocks before somebody picks you up. And so here they are, they're kids, and they're being picked out for prostitution. Well, if you are having sex under the age of 18 and that's statutory rape, then why are you being accused of prostitution if you're under the age of, and why are we criminalizing the victim? Why are we criminalizing the victim? We need to be helping the victim. As a mom, I'm telling you, it broke my heart talking to these girls. One of them said at age 1, both of her parents started sexually abusing her. Oh my God. And then one of the time I met her, she was in a detention center for juveniles. I visited them as well. And she said, I just felt like garbage, thrown out, tossed away. And we have to pick those girls up and hold them tight and love them dearly like our own. And they will tell you they feel damaged. And we have to renew their spirit, and we have to give them the skills that they need. We have to give them the drug rehabilitation they need. One woman told me she lost custody of both of her children. And when she was young, her mom had lost custody of her because they went to prison. She said, I'm just repeating what my mom did. And she lost him to a closed adoption, so she's not going to see her children again. And she's still a baby. She's younger than my baby. And so what are we going to do to help those girls? And there are initiatives all across the country where people are trying to help them. But we need to wake everybody up to realize it is our problem. Just because it's not our daughter, we should treat them as our daughters. And they need a lot of love. They need mentorships. They need summer job opportunities. They need somebody to believe in them, because many of them grew up with nobody believing in them. But they should be able to count on us. They should. So I will say one area where I'm hopeful, and I'm never very hopeful in Washington, as you walk around, I can tell you, Congress does not do much. They really don't. And it's been my biggest disappointment over the last 7 years with the challenges that we have in our country, knowing that our country, we usually pull together when there are challenges. And unfortunately, the strategy to deal with President Obama has been to separate us and to pull away and to just say no. And yet there is so much we could do. But criminal justice is an area where I'm optimistic. And yes, I know, believe me. Now, we'll see. I've been proved wrong before, but right now, in both the House and the Senate, there are bills moving forward, passed out of both judiciary committees. For those young people, it's a civic lesson. Go figure out what the Judiciary Committee is, but it's the step we need before we have a bill approved by Congress and sent to the President for signature. And if we do, it'll do a few things. It's going to reduce mandatory minimums for nonviolent drug offenders. It's interesting now that we have an opioids epidemic that's spreading around our country. Now we're talking about mental health and treatment, which is all good and important. Meanwhile, we have prisons that are full of people who committed nonviolent crimes involving drugs. And we need to ensure that we're not being arbitrary and capricious with these high sentences, because I've had judges tell me, I wish I had the discretion not to do that. That young person didn't need to be in prison, they needed to be in a rehab center, or they needed to be in a family where they could feed themselves and not have to sell drugs to put food on the table for their younger siblings. So we can do something about that. The other thing is we're going to do is, if people are incarcerated, this legislation would give us resources we need to train them, give them the counseling that they need. So when they're released, they are prepared for life. And then when they are released, we have to give them a job. We got to give them a second chance. People say, well, there's this revolving door. Well, why do you think there's a revolving door? I can tell you why there's a revolving door, because when you get out, you get a bus ticket back to a neighborhood where probably nobody you were with when you went in still lives there, except for the people who got you in trouble to begin with. And you've got no job, and no one wants to hire you because you were in prison. And what I've been heartened by is the number of employers around the country who realize that there is a talent pool out there waiting, anxious to be able to take care of their young children who made mistakes when they were teenagers. And as the president said when he visited El Reno Penitentiary, young people mess up. They mess up all the time. And it's our job as adults to give them a second chance. Make sure that they have a job. Make sure that they are in a home where people are caring for them so that they don't choose to go back to prison because their life outside of prison is untenable. All right, so one other area I really want to touch on, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and that is unwanted teenage pregnancy. And we have to admit that it is a problem in our community. And that's why the president has set aside $86 million, even Washington, that's a pretty big number, to help fight teenage pregnancy, because this is what we knew. Only half of teen mothers receive a high school diploma by the time they're 22. And in the aggregate, children of teen mothers are less likely to finish school, more likely to have higher rates of health problems and unemployment, and are more likely to become teen mothers themselves. So we have to break that cycle. When teens are able to delay the birth of their children and stay in school, they do well. It's just that simple. So we also have to obviously get our young people, any of you interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, show of hands. All right, I want those hands to double. Those are the jobs of the future. That's how we're going to compete globally. We need to encourage our children to find excitement, and we need to give them role models of women who are in those fields who take the time to reach back. I love to tell the story to the young people about a woman who I know who's the CEO of Xerox, Ursula Burns, proud African-American woman, grew up poor, but had an aptitude for math and science, didn't know what to do with it. And someone gave her an internship at Xerox. And the rest is history. We need all of our young children to have internships in their summer. We need them off of the street, in a place of work, so they learn good habits, showing up, being on time, learning to be a self-starter, ask for something to do, be a go-getter. All of these skills, if they develop them early in life, they will stay with them throughout. So that's also important. Now, I want to close on another note that was in the news this week, and that is the President's nomination of Chief Judge Merrick Garland to the bench. So as the President said when he made his announcement, the Chief Judge is widely known as having exemplary credentials. There's nobody on the federal bench with better credentials than he. He's been on the federal bench here in the D.C. Circuit, which is the second highest court of the land, for 19 years. He's been Chief Judge for 3 years. And he is a decent and good and compassionate man. When the bombing occurred in Oklahoma City, and most young people weren't even born when it happened, he left his young family on 1 day's notice, went to Oklahoma, where he investigated and prosecuted McVeigh, brought him to justice, and developed a relationship with the families there that stayed with him to this day. He tutors here in D.C., 2nd and 3rd and 4th graders, and has for years. His daughters are involved in tutoring while they're in college, in prisons. I mean, he's just a good and decent man. And he deserves a hearing, let me tell you, from the Republicans in the House Judiciary Committee. He spent virtually his entire life in public service. He's the kind of public servant we want on the highest court. Now, I want to say that the President cares a great deal about having a diverse pool of highly qualified applicants from whom to choose, including African American candidates at every level in the court, including the Supreme Court. And thanks to the work that he's done over the last 7 years, he has created an extraordinary pool of candidates. And I just want to give you a few statistics so you know them. Over the last 7 years, President Obama has appointed 60 African Americans to the bench. 61 African Americans, 26 African American women. That is more than any other president in history. In fact, just 2 days ago, he nominated Rebecca Hayward of Pennsylvania to the 3rd Circuit. She'll be the first African American woman on that circuit. So the president is committed to ensuring our judiciary looks like the rest of the country. And our hope is that we're laying the seeds for the future where there are more African Americans who are on the short list. Now, in this instance, the president had some phenomenal choices from whom to choose. And although I know we all look forward to seeing an African American on the Supreme Court, right? We do look forward to that one day. We all do. But I agree too. But I also think, and this is important, that Chief Judge Garland deserves a fair hearing in the Senate. Republicans have steadfastly refused to grant the president the respect that every other president has been granted. And in fact, if you're at parties with your friends, remind them that Chief Justice Kennedy, who's on the bench now, was nominated by President Reagan, a Republican, when the Democrats controlled the Senate. In fact, Vice President Biden was then chairman of the Judiciary Committee. And what happened in an election year? He was voted out 93-0. And the principal Republican leader in the Senate, who is saying that in an election year we should let the people decide who should be on the high court, voted that year in favor of Justice Kennedy. So what has changed? Why are the rules changing now? Why are they showing President Obama this kind of disrespect? When they say the people should decide, they did 3 years ago when they voted for him. So we need your voices to lift high on this issue. We have to ensure that they are held accountable for this kind of obstructionism. And we are going to keep pushing. I was on Roland Martin's television show yesterday, and he said, well, Valerie, this is a heavy lift. You know, they're saying no, there's no way they're going to give him a hearing. I said, well, that's what they said when the skinny kid from the South Side said he was going to run for president of the United States, right? That's what they said when the president said everyone in America should have affordable health care. And they said, oh, no, that's not going to happen. When we put our minds together, we can do great things together. So, now really in closing, my closing is really to say how much we're counting on you. Just looking around this room, each and everybody, you see April, who's on the White House press corps. I do believe certainly the only African American woman, right, in the White House press corps. She fights each and every day for the respect she deserves, and we do our mightiest to show it to her, because not just because she's a black woman, but because she's earned it. And so sometimes people say, well, wait a minute, why are you giving so-and-so an interview? Well, you know what? Because she did the work. She earned it. We have all earned it. And don't let anybody tell you anything to the contrary. And I say this particularly to the young people, but also to the people my age. If we don't ask for it, we won't get it. If we don't demand it, it will not be ours. And so in those last remaining months of the President's time in office, I just want to tell you how much I look forward to continuing our work with you, how much I love you all, how much I appreciate your friendship, and how much I know that working together, we will continue to bend that arc of the moral universe towards justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie.